Welcome everyone to the Spring 2025 Autism Training Series, sponsored by Aetna Better Health of Kentucky in partnership with the Kentucky Autism Training Center. My name is Andrea Polk, and I am the Children's System of Care Administrator here with Aetna. This is the third training in our Spring Autism Training Series, and we appreciate your attendance. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. Please remain on mute and place any questions or comments in the chat, and those will be answered at the end of the session. We will have an opportunity for people to come off mute and ask questions at the end of the training, but this training is being recorded, so we do ask that any questions wait until the end. There will be a resource folder link placed in the chat as well for you guys to get the slides for today's survey. And again, double check and make sure that you're on mute for today's training. And then I also want to...
I'm not showing myself up here. Am I showing for you, Beverly McGill?
Beverly, we don't have to see your face, but we definitely...
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you're
Okay.
fine then.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. I want to advise that CEUs, continuing education units, will not be offered for this event. The content of the training does not align with the guidelines set forth by the Kentucky credentialing boards that we typically apply to. And as such, approval for CEUs is unlikely. However, individual participants are welcome to submit materials to their respective credentialing boards for consideration. We appreciate your understanding on that matter. However, we do ask that you still complete the evaluation form at the end of the training. The evaluation link will be placed in the chat at the end of the training. This is especially important to complete if you still need a certificate of attendance for your job, if you're a DCBS worker and want credit, or if you're a foster parent and you need credit, you definitely have to complete that evaluation link because that's how we know who to send the certificates of completion to. So now I would like to introduce our presenter for today, Kitty Zachary, who is the Executive Director of Coalition Forward Kentucky, who will be training on post-secondary transition.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, Andrea, to come and speak with you today. As Andrea mentioned, I am the director of Coalition Forward. We are a organization, a nonprofit based here in Louisville. They've been around for several years, and our mission is to help. There we go. That's it. Thank you. We're an alliance of companies and individuals working together to create employment opportunities for people with disabilities. We create opportunities and enhance abilities. So that's what we are working to do. Next slide. How we work. Individuals with disabilities go to vocational rehabilitation to get help entering the workforce. VR counselors determine their eligibility and assign them to service providers. Each service provider or job coach works with a caseload of individuals who are in different phases of the job search process. And that's how they come to us. Businesses come to our coalition meetings and announce their open positions. The coalition is funded through vocational rehabilitation to provide a networking function. Future funding depends on factors like reported placements. So we're a networking organization that brings together employers and service providers. So the students that you work with who are in transition are graduating out of a secondary environment and moving into a post-secondary environment where they're considering whether they're going to go to work, what are they going to do. What we do at the coalition is we work with individuals and help them in different phases of their career find their correct next step. Next slide, please. One of the things we do at the Coalition is our annual career fair in October. And this is for students who are still in school. So for students who are high school juniors or seniors throughout the Louisville area and surrounding counties, they can come to this event and learn from different employers about what openings are available. The coalition provides optional lesson plans and activities for teachers of these students that go through things like, what are you interested in doing? What are 5 employers you would like to talk to? What are the questions you should ask an employer when you talk to an employer? Many times when a high school student is thinking about an employer, we want them to think about things like, why do I want to go to work? How long do I want to go to work there? Is this a job I want to do long term? Is this a job I want to do while I'm training for a career? Many high school students do hold part-time employment while they're seeking future training. So we talk about employment and we try to encourage students to think about employment as a decision-making process that they're going to be involved in. Next slide, please. Another important role the coalition plays is sharing our resources in our meetings throughout the state. Attended by service providers, workforce development professionals, and educational representatives, we open eyes to the many assets across the state. This year, we opened 4 different branches, one in Florence, one in Moorhead, one in Somerset, and one in Henderson. So what we have done is we have transitioned from being Louisville-based to being a state-based organization so that we can expand our reach and help reach more individuals with disabilities across the state with our message. Next slide. Who are we talking about when we say post-secondary transition? It's typically youth 16 to 21 years of age, nearing completion of a secondary education. They may or may not have an IEP or a 504 plan in high school. And this is the important thing. They may or may not have a career goal. And that's the hard part. For a teenager, oftentimes coming up with a career goal is difficult. Next slide. Sometimes making a career choice can be overwhelming when you think of all of the things that a teenager faces. Teenagers may have limited exposure to the world of work, but they're put in a position where they're making a decision that will eventually change their life. And it may be difficult to advise those students if your own access to resources is limited. Important things to know are that this process can be challenging, but extremely rewarding. I have been very fortunate before I took this position that I spent 26 years at Jefferson Community and Technical College working with first-year college students. So I have a lot of experience with students who are new to college and new to the college experience. An important thing for anyone at this age to know is that no decision is set in stone. The average person will change careers several times in their lifetime. Teenagers, although, tend to see things in black and white as a single step. That this is their journey and this is it. But it's important for those who work with teenagers to emphasize that their career development is not just a single step. It's more of a journey, a path that these students will travel as they move through their life and make their career decisions. As a supportive professional, your calm guidance through the process helps set the stage for success. Next slide, please. The first step is defining a career goal. One of the things that you often hear is if you don't know where you want to go, you can't figure out how to get there. A new program that was introduced this spring was designed to assist with post-secondary transitions. It also has a section for working adults, and it is called Future Ritty, and I may not even be pronouncing it right, but it's how Kentuckians find their future. And I am going to have Susan, if you don't mind, pull up the main page for it. When I first saw this program, I was so impressed. It contains a lot of different possible things that you can look at as a future career decider, trying to figure out where to go and what to do. I really like the thing that it talks about at the very first, you'll see choosing your career path up here at the top. Um, when you, I think that's the first thing you have to go through. When you click on that, click on the choosing your career path. With teenagers, a lot of times you get the, I don't know what to do. This software gives teenagers the opportunity to take different career interest inventories. It's click on the career quizzes. Find your career path today. So it's something that students can do. They can identify their skills and strengths. They can watch different career videos. They can look at career selection resources. Again, having a place to point a student to say, here's something you can do. When they say, I have no idea what I want to do, say, okay, all right, well, let's identify what your skills and strengths are. That's a great first step. Let's talk about that. So click on it. You can sit through and work through this with your student, or you can say you work through this yourself. You think about it. Tell me, what are your strengths? What do you value? What are your skills? What are the things that mean something to you? Now, what are you going to do with that information now that you have it? And it gives specific action steps that you can take to look to integrate that information into making a college or career decision. One of the most important things for high school students to understand is, and this may sound funny coming from someone who spent 26 years as a college employee, but college is not the only answer. So there are lots of other options out there as well. So I want to talk about some of the options that are out there. Can we go back to my slide deck, please? Uh, but but the future ITI software, it's a great place to help your students, your high schoolers, help make some decisions, help define that career goal. Okay. And the next step is choosing your career path. And it has lots of different things in there, career planning in middle and high school, finding a new career path, career quizzes and videos, selecting a high demand career. One of the things you'll often hear a student say, I don't care what I do, I want to make a lot of money. Have you heard that before? I've heard that before. So oftentimes that means learning about high demand, high wage jobs. Every high demand, high wage jobs is not right for every person. And one of the things that is very important to point out to someone who's making this decision is, I understand you want to make a high wage, but do you have these skills and abilities? And are you willing to do this training to come out to this other end to make this wage? I had someone come to our meeting this past year who was looking to hire or looking to bring in apprentices into the elevator apprentice program. Graduates of this program can make $50 an hour. That's a lot of money. But it's a 5 to 6 year apprenticeship program. You have to be very small. You have to be willing to go into tight, dark places all day long. You have to have a very mechanical aptitude. Now, that's a very specific skill set. It's very high wage. It's not extremely high demand, but there is a demand. And the demand will be increasing because there's a high retirement rate. There's a lot of baby boomers in that field that will be leaving that field soon. So there's a lot of research that you have to think about when you're thinking about what you want to do and how do you want to get there. So one of the things in Future Ready that you can do is search careers by keyword. You can search careers by industry. You can look at discovering your interest. All excellent ways to work on finding out what is the best way to go into that informational overload that sometimes is out there. This program, it's written more for a high school level, so that a high schooler can get in there and that you as a professional can get in there and hopefully assist students as they're trying to find their way around as well. The next step after making the decision on the career is to examine the options. What are you going to do? Where are you going to get that training for the job that you need? Many people just do on-the-job training. I had a woman who called me last week who's going to come to my meeting that I hold tomorrow morning. And she's looking to hire students who are on the spectrum. And she said she needs students with extreme attention to detail. And she said she's even hired students who are nonverbal, but they have to have extreme attention to detail. Now, she is willing to do extensive on-the-job training. Many employers are willing to do on-the-job training and prefer to do on-the-job training for their new hires. Usually it will involve a lower wage and starting out kind of at the bottom of the totem pole. I have found that is something most teenagers are unwilling to accept. They want to start out at the top. It's not always possible. So sometimes that decision or that discussion, having that discussion with a teenager is often helpful. That when evaluating employers, it's important to get information about an on-the-job training. What does that involve? How long is the training period? What is the beginning wage? What is the wage after training? And what are the benefits that the company is offering? Depending upon anyone's situation, there is a right job for that person. It might not be the right job for the next person, but there is a right job for that person. So on-the-job training is something that many people might consider. Another very overlooked part of training is apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are widely available in the state of Kentucky. And the Futurity software has a nice link to some of the apprenticeship programs, which can help explore some of those options. The elevator repair program that I spoke about earlier was an apprenticeship program. Other apprenticeship type programs are found in heating and air conditioning, in electrical work, in construction, in plumbing. All of those fields require up to a 4-year training program. The entry wage may be modest, but it's well above minimum wage. But it may still be modest, especially depending upon the city that you're in. But even in Louisville, the entry wage for most of those fields while you're going through the apprenticeship program is around $20 an hour. And once you finish those programs and you gain your certification, the wage that you finish with is going to be $30 an hour up. This week, I will be posting some jobs at the Metropolitan Sewer District for electricians that pay $79,000 to $89,000 a year for electricians. Please, when you are speaking to youth that are transitional age, let them know that high-paying careers can be found in the technical fields. Another excellent option that exists is Job Corps. Job Corps involves the opportunity for students to go and live on campus and take technical training and then receive assistance with placement after the end of the program. It is for some students a a bright step. In Kentucky, we are fortunate to have a wide variety of Job Corps sites that present many opportunities. And we even have a site that is specialized and devoted only to individuals with disabilities, which I'll talk about in a bit. So that's always an option. The community college is usually the first option of choice for folks going to college. And I kind of know that from experience. I'm a community college graduate myself who transferred over to a university. Um, Community colleges pride themselves as being the open door to higher education. Many folks come to community college for a single class. Some end up with training or a certificate. Others go on to earn an associate's degree. And then others decide to transfer to a four-year college or university. Um, for youth in foster care, when I was at the community college, there is a foster care waiver program. So that would be something that I would encourage you to investigate as a way to mitigate the cost of education for students in that situation. Um, and then the final option for students is the university. I do not want to minimize the university. Many people see the university as the one and only step for higher education. I believe it should be perhaps reserved for students who know what they're going to do, who are academically most prepared, because the last thing you want to do is take classes to get you to university level, but have to pay university tuition for lower level non-credit classes. So you want to make sure you're academically at a high level before you try to step into university classes. And you want to make sure that you have a career goal so that you don't take classes that then do not count toward a degree program. So those would be my recommendations in that area. Next slide. Okay. The on-the-job training, this just talks about the entry-level jobs. Sometimes HVAC will start that way. Another example was the Henderson Coal Company we found out about at our Henderson meeting. They like to train people without experience. And it's a very rigorous job. So if you have someone who wants to make a lot of money at some place where they can make a lot of money, but you work very, very hard, and it's quite a commitment. But again, it's a very high wage job. So again, those are the types of jobs you might want to investigate and learn more about if you have a student that you're working with and that's what they say they want. Some on-the-job training is sponsored and paid for by the state. The Transitional Learning Center program at UPS is sponsored by Vocational Rehabilitation. That program takes students with disabilities and trains them, 2-week pre-employment program to be package handlers. That's a part-time position. Other on-the-job training programs involve new employees who complete an entry-level certificate, such as the medical assistant program at Norton's. Norton's has an outstanding educational program for its employees. You can work your way up at Norton's as an employee. Entry-level wages will vary by industry and location. Jobs in Louisville typically pay more than jobs in the rural areas. As we have gotten out the state, I have been very surprised about the differences in wages. Louisville and Northern Kentucky are pretty comparable, but Louisville, when you put Louisville against, I think Henderson or Somerset or Moorhead, our wages are a lot higher. So those are other things to consider when you're looking at where to work. Next slide. Apprenticeships are run by employers, unions, or colleges. The state keeps a listing of all apprenticeships at kentuckyworks.kentucky.gov. Northern Kentucky offers a registered apprenticeship fair every year for interested students and general public, advertises the starting salary for completers of the 4-year program is $55,000 a year. And I was shocked, not by the starting salary. That didn't shock me at all, because once a student completes an apprenticeship program, they are highly trained and they are very valuable in their field. I was shocked that Northern Kentucky was the only place that had the apprenticeship fair. The apprenticeship fair is, to me, a wonderful idea, and I would certainly want to attend if I were a high school student. But that is a great program to find out more about apprenticeships. The Job Corps, there are 6 of them across the state of Kentucky, providing a wide range of trade programs and career training. They offer residential services and are committed to empowering youth with the skills they need to succeed. The website for that is recruiting.jobcorps.gov. And then the Carl D. Perkins program is the one that is run by the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation. You have to be referred by one of the OVR counselors to go to the Carl D. Perkins program. But it is such an outstanding program. It is a Job Corps center. They offer, it's one center. It is only for students with a disability. It is residential housing. They have a male and a female dorm. They have their programs. They have advanced manufacturing, automotive, construction, healthcare, homeland security, information technology. They also have an office technology program. They have a lovely campus. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's a nice environment, and it's a program that has been very well recognized for the services it's provide and the graduates that it produces. Next, other Job Corps sites in Kentucky: Great Onyx, Earl Clements, Muhlenberg, Frenchburg, and Pine Knot. And this one that I have the screenshot for is the Great Onyx one, and they offer advanced manufacturing, construction, finance and business, information technology, renewable resources and energy, and advanced training in fire management. So that sounds pretty interesting. So, you know, they are very interesting different things that you can learn at Job Corps sites. Community colleges. Community colleges have the lowest tuition for higher education. Like I said, there are waivers that are available for students who are coming out of the foster care system. Students can choose to do a certificate program, a technical program, or a transfer degree program. Since they are open admissions, that means that students are admitted at their current level and they are given the developmental courses that they need to be successful. Not everyone comes to college completely prepared. When I worked in college, our biggest struggle was with students in mathematics. One of the things about mathematics is if you do not use it every year, you tend to lose those skills. One of the things we regularly did was try to do the math placement test ourselves. It was very humbling. And it made us realize that, yes, students should have math every year. And if they don't have math every year, they are not going to pass a math placement test because very few of us could do it ourselves. So one of the things that we do is we offer a lot of math brush-up classes at the community college. For students without high GPAs or test scores, community college serve as a successful bridge for a four-year school. They often have very excellent programs in things like a two-year nursing. They have a physical therapy assistant program, a respiratory therapy assistant program, an occupational therapy assistant program, automotive technology programs, etc. So there are many options at the community college for students who want to get a two-year college degree or a two-year transfer degree. Next slide. For the students with the solid grades and the high test scores and specific career goals, options are available, scholarships opportunities, and federal financial aids are available for most. FAFSA.gov is the website you want to go to. The sooner you fill it out, the better, especially if you're in that senior year in high school. The third step I'd like to see anyone do is reach out to the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation because additional services may be available for the clients that you work with. For students who are 16 to 21 who have an IEP or a 504 plan, there is an incredible array of services. Career planning, educational assistance, even driver's education. There is so much available. Please reach out to OVR for those students. Next. Oh, questions. Well, we have plenty of time for questions. I didn't realize I was moving so quickly through my slides. If there are questions in the chat, I will go over them. And if they're not, I may spend some more time on the Futury website.
Thank you so much, Kitty. I don't see any questions in the chat at this point.
Okay,
So if you'd like to spend some more
yes,
time on the website,
I will.
and then we can turn off the recording after you're finished with that to provide an opportunity for people to unmute and ask additional questions.
Okay, all right.
Do you want to go to the website on the screen?
Yes, let's go to the website, please.
You wanna?
I'll try.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at, what was that one thing that I wanted to see? Let me go down here. I'm gonna let you do it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to you because,
Gotcha.
yes, it is too much. So identifying your skills and strengths. Let's scroll down and let's take a values survey. Sort the cards into two piles, one with the values that fit you well and one with the values that don't. So, is recognition one you keep or one you discard? Okay, fame. Put that over there. Family. Oh my goodness, we have 49 of these
Yeah.
status. Hurry up, Susan. Order. You know where I put that one. Ethics, yes. Safety. Relationships, yes. Fairness, oh, very important. Oh, it's not moving fast enough. Challenges. We're keeping everything.
Yeah.
Meaningful work, yes, that's important too.
Do we really wanna
Excitement.
go through all these?
No, I don't know if we want to go through all these.
Okay.
Yeah, 32 is just too many. Okay, sorry. But this gives you an example of the different things you can go through. But that is kind of interesting though. So that's something to do. Let's look at the resources they have. Kentucky Advising Resources, the Kentucky Council on Post-Secondary Education, resources for high schoolers, milestones and activities, career exploration, post-secondary opportunities, and these are broken down by grade levels, and essential skills. Let's scroll down. And there's actual worksheets that you can download and print out. And lesson plans if you want to do those. So lots of stuff, more career courses or quizzes, lots of different things you can do. Okay. Well,